So, friends, part 1 is choosing a course. Because before finding a woman and building a relationship with her, it makes sense to answer, do I really need it? Do I need this empire? Or are there other options, other alternatives, and what are the pros and cons of each path? It makes sense to answer this question for yourself and decide, friends. In my view, in my picture of the world, there are only two main paths you can choose in the realm of relationships. Friends, the first path sounds like an open relationship. That is debauchery. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Open relationships seem to be the main trend now, friends, the main trend that is gaining momentum. Like, why the hell do you need it? What kind of wife? Have you seen the divorce statistics? 80% of marriages end in divorce. Why do you need it, brother? Plus, in a year or two, you will get tired of her, and then there will be children. Oh shit, you will lose everything. All of yourself, all of your freedom, all of your happiness. You will be a sad fucking slave, a servant. That is all that awaits you there. So look at the other options. First today, second tomorrow, then third. Tired of the third, went back to the first. Tired of all three, found a fourth. Women are a countless abundance, brother. Go have fun. Do not waste your time on bullshit. Open relationships. There is a second alternative way to live this life in the realm of relationships. It is a dedicated relationship, empire in parentheses. Dedicated relationships, friends, are where you dedicate yourself to one woman. You dedicate yourself, your all, everything you will achieve, all the victories, all the successes, all the results, the entire empire you are building, you do it with one woman. This is the second path. In my understanding, there are only two main paths, friends, the first and the second. What are the pros and cons, friends? Let's break it down. The pros of an open relationship. Oh, let's go. It must be fun here. Number 1 is zero responsibility. Man, you do not have to worry about anyone. Emotions, long-term relationships, what to decide, what is she telling you? Bro, do not worry. Zero responsibility. Tired, that is it, finished today, and that is it, let's go. Wonderful. Next, friends, endless love, because endless novelty. There is always something new, something different, something third, something 10th. Smart, not so smart. Funny, not so smart. Sad, not so smart. Constant novelty. That is why you are constantly in love. It is here, it is nearby, it is always fun. And the third plus is emotional motivation. This sexual trigger to work, to create, to improve yourself in order to climb as high as possible up the hierarchy, to win as many women as possible, the best women possible. One of a man's basic drivers is definitely there, and it is fun to be with him. Even if you make him your main source of motivation, it is a matter of time before everything in your life collapses, but in the background, he is definitely there. This is emotional motivation against the backdrop of the sexual trigger of one of a man's main instincts. Yes, my friends, beautiful. These are the pluses. Maybe, if you think about it, you can come up with more. These are the main ones I see. Let's move on to the cons. Number 1 is a waste of time. A waste of time! Bro, you are wasting countless hours on this story because it is an eternal search for a woman, an eternal prelude to inviting her somewhere, to come up with something, to think through something. This one did not work. You look for a new one, scroll through a new one. It is constant dopamine. A woman works like a drug. A new woman is like a drug. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Tinder, Tinder, Tinder. It is addictive. It takes a lot of time, a lot of focus, a lot of attention, a lot of issues to sort out later. So, this one is calling, this one is mad, this one is unhappy, crap, what to do with them all, and so on. A waste of time, man. A loss of focus, a loss of energy. Number 2, no growth. There is no growth because there is no responsibility. It is that simple. Where there is no responsibility, there is no growth. In business, if you have no responsibility for anything, you have no growth. Once you have responsibility in business, how am I supposed to handle that responsibility now? How am I supposed to function best with it? Growth has begun. You have grown as a man. So, where there is no responsibility, there is no growth that you could have had if you had responsibility in a relationship. Then, minus number 3, is the chance of having children out of wedlock. Oh man, in my opinion, it is no fun at all when you have one woman with one child, a second woman with a second child, a third with 2 children. You have to juggle them all. They are all trying to connect with each other. There is a fight here, a fight there, a hassle here, and you have to resolve things. You do not have the opportunity to all sit around your Christmas table and see this whole clan sitting in front of me. No, one kid here, a third there. It has been proven, tested by psychologists, that a child who grows up without a man and a woman who love each other and pass on what they can from both their masculine and feminine sides will grow up to be a flawed child with a ton of problems, a ton of complexes, and a high probability of building a broken life. Therefore, for me, this is a clear disadvantage, both for you as a man and for the legacy you are building. The fourth disadvantage is a reduced chance of finding a good woman. This is a disadvantage from my perspective, as I am the father of 2 daughters. And when I see a pickup artist on Instagram, on Telegram, who writes, "Why do you need this relationship with one woman? Look at me. I have seduced 5 women this week alone. 5 in 1 week. What are you even doing? You do not even need money. Come on Telegram, I will teach you how to seduce them. Rest assured that I will teach my daughters, whom I will try to raise to be the best women possible, to spot such bastards a mile away, to distinguish them by their gait, by their speech, by their appearance, by their behavior, from the very first fucking date, from the very first approach. I will teach them to recognize these clowns. I will instill in them an understanding of how they think, how they behave, how to send them to hell in the very first second. And these are the good, adequate women who are capable of building an empire with a man, whom you will not teach because you chose this path. And not only will I instruct them on how to spot this crap, but I will also show them my example. I will show them that it is possible to find a man who chooses one woman and builds an empire with her. Okay, friends, that is about the pros and cons. And I could go on listing the cons here, friends, but this is where we can stop. The general direction is already clear, friends. Let's move on. Friends, pro number 1 is God's plan. I believe in God. I believe the Bible is the Word of God. And we read very clearly in the Bible that God sets the direction. He created man and woman, and He said, the 2 will be one flesh. Not 3, not 5, not 7, 2 will be one flesh and will build an empire. And further in Matthew, we find Jesus' words that a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to a woman, and the 2 will become one flesh. Again, friends, a clear and precise command on how to live this life in the best format for which you were created. Therefore, the first pro is God's plan. Next, number 2 is growth. Growth because you have immeasurable responsibility. Responsibility for a woman, for her emotional state, for the children you have together, for the promises you made to her during your marriage. Yes, a lot of responsibility. Where there is responsibility, there is growth. If you do not shirk responsibility on the sly, doing something on the side in your supposedly dedicated relationship. No, we build dedicated relationships for real, not in words but in life. And that is why it is growth. A lot of responsibility on a huge number of fronts that you will need to shoulder. It is a huge growth for you as a man, for you as a person. And now, number 3. It is saving time. Saving precisely this format of time that you spend on the endless search for an affair, sorting out affairs, hassles, new scrolls, and so on. Energy and focus go nowhere. Even if here there is definitely an expenditure of time, this time is spent on something long-term. And that is the next plus, a long-term view. This is the investment of time that is here. It is for the long term. This is what builds something long-term. We call this an empire, right? Something that will later grow into some kind of family, some kind of union, some kind of legacy, some kind of clan that you are creating. The time you spend in the other path is practically wasted on today's entertainment, on satisfying your lust, on dopamine here now. And then, my friend, nothing. So, saving energy, mental strength, focus, and then a long-term view. That is the 4th plus. The 5th plus is that you learn to love. You learn to love, man. You learn to love a woman. You learn to love children. And this develops you greatly. Because being in love for the first year or 2 is okay. But then, having responsibility, learning to love, that is a separate adventure, which makes you a person of a completely different caliber. So that is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ability to love. You learn to love. Number 6 is you are building an empire. All these things in combination. You are building an empire. You are building it for the long term. You are building a legacy. You are building a clan. And you are building yourself as the king of this empire, friends. And friends, the main drawback I see here is obvious, because everything where there is responsibility, where there is growth, where there is a long-term perspective, it is always difficult, it is always hard. Everything where there is dedication is always hard, because that is what is easy. Swiping is easy. Sending something away when you are tired is easy. Sending something away when something is wrong is easy. Building for the long term, being responsible for your words, for your promises, for what was done, that is hard. That is precisely why this is the main drawback. But then again, we in the 4Men Mastery friends do not view difficulty as a negative if it leads to growth, to something better ahead. So this negative is a relative negative. It is kind of a negative if you evaluate these two things in terms of the level of fun and dopamine you get every day. But if you evaluate these two paths in terms of growth and progress, then this can even turn into a positive. Because we in the 4Men Mastery know that life is how you look at it, and not what it really is. And therefore, even something difficult, you can look at it from the perspective of, okay, any difficulty is an opportunity for me to become better, to become stronger, to get closer to the status of the king that I want to be in my empire. So come on, this is a challenge. Let's become better friends, with the right perspective. This is a positive. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, friends, here is my vision of the two paths. If you are on the second path, your plan is most likely to build a committed relationship with one woman to build an empire. And so, how to do this is what we will be heading off to now, because the first path is easy. Nothing is needed here, no explanations. Go have fun. This is a challenge. It is growth, but it is a challenge. So how to do this, we will find out in the next part, because the downside that can theoretically be added here is risk. The risk that I will choose the wrong woman and it will all turn into some kind of fucking hell. So, friends, how can you avoid that? How do you choose the right woman? And then, what are the keys to building strong relationships? How not to lose yourself? How can you help a woman open up and build something beautiful? This is the second and third parts we are heading off to right now. Let's fly, friends. It is going to be incredibly fun.